Watching Lynxx 24, connecting you to the community.
Welcome to your hometown news. I'm April Frelke with my co-host Joe Minnie. And big news for Aaron Scott.
Yes,
local
Tomah teacher at the Tomah High School. He auditioned for The Voice, and he was on TV this week, and 2 chairs turned for him. So
yes, I watched it. Did you watch it?
I did.
It was exciting. It was very exciting.
Super exciting for him, and the rock element of his audition was like perplexing the judges, and I'm like, it's rock and roll. There's nothing wrong with it.
Blake Shelton had fun with that too.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep singing the song he sang. Yeah. They just wanted to join in with him. And so he's Team Shelton, right? Blake?
Yeah, yep. Blake picked him, or he picked Blake because he could have picked John Legend too. So it's very exciting. Yeah.
So for our viewers, look up Aaron Scott. I'm sure he's all over Facebook and his little audition on The Voice. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, before we get to our first guest, we have a positive story to share. School districts across the area turned off water fountains for safety purposes due to COVID-19. And so Lynxx Networks and 3RT Networks donated 2,000 reusable water bottles to area schools, including the districts of Mauston, New Lisbon, Tomah, West Salem, and Aquinas schools in La Crosse. Lynxx Networks and 3RT Networks wanted to help in a small way by supplying school offices with reusable bottles in the event that a student needed one. And that is a great resource for those kids because they don't have access to water all day.
Yeah, and they have to have the water with them. Otherwise, they don't have the opportunity to go out in the halls anymore. They're just, they're restricted to the classroom for a long period of time. So they need their own water.
Yeah.
Well, our first guest is an American patriot, retired Navy SEAL, husband, father, grandfather, author, movie star, and Christian. He is now running for U.S. Congress and joins us via Zoom. Please welcome to the program, Derrick VanOrden. Welcome.
Welcome.
Well, thanks, Joe and April. It's wonderful to see you guys again. How's everything going?
Good, and we hear that you're in Platteville, Wisconsin, with us, right?
Right. You bet. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get right to our first question about farming. So farming is one of the backbones of the Wisconsin economy. And so during the past weeks, you've been visiting many of the farms in our area. What have you learned about the farming industry and economy? And what are the people saying about what's going on for them, your constituents?
Okay. Yeah, I always wanted to be a farmer as a kid growing up, and wound up joining the Navy and spending 26 years in the service. But I've been around speaking to hundreds and hundreds of farmers. And first and foremost, they're absolutely very happy with the USMCA trade deal that went through, the United States, Canada, Mexico trade deal, to help give our farmers a level playing field on the international trade scene, which is absolutely imperative. Now, unfortunately, Ron Kind, who I'm running against, he sat on that trade deal for such a long period of time that we lost over 840 dairy farms in the state of Wisconsin. And many of those were century farms, meaning that those farms were in someone's family for over 100 years. And Ron Kind is on record saying that Nancy Pelosi was the gatekeeper for the USMCA. So he did Nancy Pelosi's bidding, unfortunately, at the expense of our farmers. Well, I'm never going to do that. So the first thing that I've really talked to the folks about is trade, absolutely imperative. And then the other thing is to have access to reliable labor throughout the entire year, because as we know, dairy cows are not seasonal. And the way that our immigration system is set up right now to bring in temporary labor, it unfortunately is geared mainly towards seasonal workers. So we're going to have a hard look at that and hopefully change that. And then we're also talking about reducing regulations. Those are always an issue. Common sense, of course, we have to make sure we take care of the environment. Farmers are the best environmentalists. But the other thing is truth in advertising and country of origin labeling. Now, Argentina has great beef. It really does. I spent 5 years in South and Central America as a SEAL, but I would much rather eat a beefer from right here in Grant County, because we produce agriculture and agricultural products, including beef, at a level that can compete with anyone in the entire world as long as we have a level playing field. And that's what we're in the process of doing through USMCA. I'm so proud of these folks that work day in and day out to provide food for not just their families and their communities, and not just the country, but the entire world. Our guys and gals on these farms in western Wisconsin are the best in the entire planet.
Well, Derrick, as a Navy SEAL, you must have been in a tough spot needing support. And So you probably got on the radio or sat phone and called for support. And the people of Wisconsin are calling for support, and they're looking to you. What can you do as their representative to get them the support that they need?
You're right, man. I have been in several tight spots. I have 5 combat tours, and thank God I do not have a Purple Heart. I don't. And but I have been in a lot of tight spots. And here's what they can count on first and foremost from me as the representative. I'm going to show up for work. Ron Kind has one of the worst congressional records for just not showing up for work. Well, I will show up for work every single day. And I'm going to make you 2 more promises that Ron Kind cannot make. Number 1, I am always going to put the best interests of the people of the 3rd District of the state of Wisconsin above my own. And the 3rd promise I'm going to make you is this: I will never lie to you. Those are 3 things that Ron Kind can't say. He can't say he's going to show up to work because he's proven that he hasn't over the decades. He certainly cannot say that he's going to put the best interests of the 3rd District above his own. We've proven that with the USMCA. And then he can't say that he's never going to lie to you. He just lied to all 18 of our county sheriffs when he told them that he had their back and would never vote for a bill that removed qualified immunity because that is a left-wing end-around behind defunding the police. So 13 of the 18 county sheriffs in our district, representing over 550,000 of our constituents, have publicly endorsed my campaign. Those are lifelong Democrats and Republicans because they realize that when we're talking about public safety, I absolutely 100% every day, 24/7, I will back the blue to make sure that our citizens here can live their lives in peace. And those are all of our citizens.
Derrick, when you're listening, you talk about labor and the big trade deals, how do you see yourself working with that current administration in Washington, the House of Representatives with the Speaker and, Nancy and Chuck?
Yeah. Hey, listen, I've lived and worked on 5 of the 7 continents throughout the world. I've worked with Hmong tribesmen in Vietnam repatriating American servicemen's remains. I've worked on the Navajo reservation in Shiprock, New Mexico, which gives me an insight into our Ho-Chunks that live here in the district. I have lived and worked with African tribes before, negotiating with them to try to bring a peaceful resolution to many different conflicts. I have an in-depth, very unique background that allows me to understand how to communicate effectively with people. And when you come to the table honestly, which is what I will do with my Democrat colleagues in the future, they'll understand that I'm coming to the table honestly, that I will reach across the aisle, and I'll do what is best for the people of the 3rd District of the state of Wisconsin. Ron Kind is very, very proud to say he's one of the most bipartisan members of Congress. Ron Kind votes with Adam Schiff, Jerry Nadler, the entire squad, and Nancy Pelosi over 95% of the time. That is not the bipartisanship we're talking about. Okay. I will maintain the values that you expect from me, take them to Washington, D.C., and work to solve the problems honestly by putting people's interests above my own.
Thank you, Derrick. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Derrick. And we all look forward to Election Day and see what happens. And the catering for cast and crew has been provided by Marco's Italian and American Grill in Warrens, where there's great food with a fun and relaxing atmosphere at Marco's. Up next, how to have a fun and safe Halloween. But first, we want to thank our program sponsors.
Hometown News is brought to you by Oakdale Credit Union, Molter Good job, Joe. in Tomah, Hardware Hank in New Lisbon, Fun Company, Game Movie Store, The Little Cottage Home Decor and more in New Lisbon, and Easier Living Consultants in Camp Douglas.
Molter's family-owned store brings you fresh. Feel healthy with a wide selection of organic foods, gluten-free products, certified Black Angus beef, and handmade brats. Molter's has a great selection of meats, so choosing can be tough. Just ask our butcher to help you make the perfect selection. Molter's brings you fresh-packed deli meals for those on the go. And of course, our fresh market. Download our mobile app and start saving money today. Molter's brings you fresh. Hardware Hank knows you have projects, lots of important projects, from paint to plumbing, electrical, and yard maintenance. We have the area's largest selection of Milwaukee tools. Hey, it's what the pros use. We even have an in-store chainsaw sharpening service. It's time to build your property's value with Hardware Hank New Lisbon.
You've got a lot more going for you with Hank, Hardware Hank.
My name is Katie Shute, and I have lived in the Tomah area all my life. I had knee replacement and needed to be in a wheelchair for a while. So when I needed my wheelchair ramp, I thought of Easier Living Consultants right away. The whole thing was done within a couple of days. I would definitely recommend Easier Living Consultants for any project you have. It met up to my expectations and even exceeded them.
The Oakdale Credit Union has spent decades serving Oakdale, Mauston, and Reedsburg. From comprehensive financial services to reliable mortgage loans, we strive to provide unparalleled care.
I like the warm and friendly atmosphere each and every time I come in. The staff is very knowledgeable and truly cares about its members.
Come and learn more about the Oakdale Credit Union, where we treat you like a member of the family.
Relax at Marco's Italian and American Grill in Warrens, Wisconsin.
You're watching it. 24.
Connecting you to the community.
Our next guest is the Community Service Officer for the Tomah Police Department and is here to share some safety tips for Halloween. Please welcome to our program, Officer Delaney Hanrahan.
Hi. Hi, welcome.
Welcome. Glad to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So we got Halloween coming up in a couple weeks. Tomah has trick-or-treating going on, right?
Yes. So we are going to be having trick-or-treat from 4 to 6. We're asking that everybody keeps their porch lights on. I realize that it's still going to be daylight hours, but that just lets everyone know that you're participating in the trick-or-treat event.
And they could be spooky lights, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And it is on Halloween Day.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, that's the big thing this
I know,
year.
That's really nice that it
Halloween
falls
is on a Saturday.
That's the best.
Yeah, exactly. I know that we've just been kind of asking that if anybody has anything suspicious going on, that they give us a call. Some other good tips, I guess, for the trick-or-treating event itself is have parents check over some candy maybe before we let the kids dig into that, just to see if there's anything out of the ordinary or any kind of issues with that at all. We want to make sure that you're walking on the sidewalks and using crosswalks. And it is starting to get a little bit dark later at night, so maybe some reflective gear or flashlights, something like that would be good to just keep on hand.
Safety first.
Exactly.
Now, if Halloween is on, are there some events that were going to happen that got canceled or anything else happening?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a little bit of the risk factor with COVID going on, so all the other community events that were planned have unfortunately been canceled.
Okay, so what might be an example of one that...
I know that there was a costume party going on at Rec Park. I think they have that. I don't know if that's every year, but yeah, unfortunately this year it's going to be canceled.
Some of those gatherings are...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, bigger gatherings like that.
And trunk-or-treats and those sort of things are probably canceled.
Yeah, so I guess the only event that I'm aware of that the city is putting on is the trick-or-treat event.
Okay. Well, CSO officer, or
Yes.
it's the same thing, it's a community service officer.
Yep.
What is that job? It's a new position that the Tomah PD has?
Yes, so basically I've just been going to do different events for everybody. I've been working with the Senior Center right now and Boys and Girls Club. Basically, if anybody's interested in having an officer come and tell them a little bit more information about either events that are going on in the community or just have some questions that they wanted answers, I would be really happy to come and give a presentation and do some work like that.
Yeah, so really kind of informing the community about law enforcement and how you work with the community and...
Exactly, yeah.
And making a connection, building that relationship.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially now with the way the police organizations have been kind of like under, I wouldn't say under attack, but they're putting a question in. So it's like getting the word out and say what services you guys actually provide.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's great.
Yeah.
Well, so great to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Congratulations on your new position.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, up next we have best-selling author Dr. Michelle McGrath, so stay tuned.
This hot tub is so relaxing. The stress of the week just melts away.
Hanging out with friends is fun.
And we have so many reasons to get together.
My Traeger grill is the difference between a good
And an amazing barbecue.
The Fun Company Game Room Store
Is where the fun begins.
At Tomah Health, we're keeping you safe while resuming expanded healthcare services.
I'm Shelley Eggstead, Quality Services Director at Tomah Health. Quality has always been a priority, and it's been part of our mission.
Our staff is taking extra precautions like offering video visit, virus screening, social distancing, and rigorous disinfecting protocols to provide continuing care.
For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit tomahhealth.org.
Moulter's family-owned store brings you fresh. Feel healthy with a wide selection of organic foods, gluten-free products, certified black Angus beef, and handmade brats. Moulter's has a great selection of meats, so choosing can be tough. Just ask our butcher to help you make the perfect selection. Moulter's brings you fresh-packed deli meals for those on the go. And of course, our fresh market. Download our mobile app and start saving money today. Moulter's brings you fresh.
The Oakdale Credit Union has spent decades serving Oakdale, Mauston, and Reedsburg. From comprehensive financial services to reliable mortgage loans, we strive to provide unparalleled care.
I like the warm and friendly atmosphere each and every time I come in. The staff is very knowledgeable and truly cares about its members.
Come and learn more about the Oakdale Credit Union, where we treat you like a member of the family.
I'm Nora Collins. You're watching Lynxx 24, connecting you to the community.
It's my great pleasure to introduce our next guest. She is an author, professor, researcher, speaker, nonprofit leader, co-creator, and lead facilitator at Zenith Retreats, and a youth leadership development expert. She is currently the executive director for the Wisconsin Association of School Councils. Please welcome to the program via Zoom, Dr. Michelle McGrath. So great to have you.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, April and Joe.
Oh, hi. Well, you have a new best-selling book out called Dropping the F-Bomb, Proven Strategies to be Fearless, Forward, and Fulfilled. What is the story behind you writing this book?
Yeah, absolutely. So really, the story, it starts with where my passion is, and it's with young people. I've had the pleasure to be and the honor to be the executive director at the Wisconsin Association of School Councils and work with young people across the state and across the country, and with amazing educators and dedicated folks like April Falke here on the news channel. It's been a privilege. And 7 years ago, when I was pursuing my doctorate, I was doing a lot of research around the urgency of youth leadership development and really what moved young people forward on their journey. And it really came down to three things. It came down to setting the right targets, the right goals, engagement, which is basically getting in the arena and doing the hard work. And lastly, about the relationships you keep. And as I was doing that research, I was also going through a time in my personal life where I was going through a divorce, and I was a single mom with 2 kids, and I was just got this new job running this nonprofit and trying to lead this organization that was struggling. And I realized that what I was learning about how I need to work with young people is exactly what I needed to employ in my own life. And so that's when I started really diving deeper and putting this book together, because to be honest, people ask me all the time, Michelle, how do you raise, or how do you to move young people forward? How do you raise gritty, responsible, amazing children? And I always go back to that it takes one to raise one. And you really have to be that model, that mentor. And right now, to be honest, a lot of people my age, adults, are not employing some of the things, some of the good strategies that they should be. to do great, impactful things. And when we can start doing that and mentoring and modeling for kids, then they will start doing much the same. So that's kind of the basis of the book.
Michelle, Dr. McGrath, well, I know you wrote the book to inspire people to be living fearless, forward, and fulfilled lives, but what have you learned from your journey in writing and interacting with people who've come and gone and implemented those strategies that you write about?
Absolutely. So I talk a lot about, obviously, young people, but in this book, it's really targeted to my work with adults. And just recently, within the past year, I had the opportunity to start a retreat business, Zenith Retreats, with my good friend and colleague, Marnie Walker. And we've been working with women and different businesses and really employing some of the strategies that I use in this book. And to be honest, when you can be vulnerable, so if you have the chance to read my book, you'll find out how vulnerable I am. And I tell a lot of good stories about just things that I start out my book with a quote by Glennon Doyle: "A good day is a good day and a bad day is a good story." And when you have those stories to tell, they can become this playbook for other people. And so maybe they can maneuver through other challenges that maybe you had to work through. And so my work in the retreat business and working with people right now is that when you can create that space for people to have that clarity and that courage and to have some connection, that you can really break through and do some impactful things with adults. And then they can go back and spread that joy and be better people for their families. They can be better leaders in their businesses, better parents. And so I have lots of stories that I tell about all of that.
Well, we're looking forward to continuing our conversation with you, with Michelle, with our encouraging thoughts. And we'll be back in 2 minutes after commercial, and we'll hear some of your encouraging thoughts, Dr. McGrath, for our viewers. Thank you.
What's the more in the little cottage home decor and more? Fashion. Shopping is fun at the little cottage. Update your look and discover more at the Little Cottage Home Decor and More, New Lisbon.
Moulter's family-owned store brings you fresh. Feel healthy with a wide selection of organic foods, gluten-free products, certified black Angus beef, and handmade brats. Moulter's has a great selection of meats, so choosing can be tough. Just ask our butcher to help you make the perfect selection. Moulter's brings you fresh-packed deli meals for those on the go. And of course, our fresh market. Download our mobile app and start saving money today. Moulter's brings you fresh.
The Oakdale Credit Union has spent decades serving Oakdale, Mauston, and Reedsburg. From comprehensive financial services to reliable mortgage loans, we strive to provide unparalleled care.
I like the warm and friendly atmosphere each and every time I come in. The staff is very knowledgeable and truly cares about its members.
Come and learn more about the Oakdale Credit Union, where we treat you like a member of the family.
Hardware Hank knows you have projects, lots of important projects, from paint to plumbing, electrical, and yard maintenance. We have the area's largest selection of Milwaukee tools. Hey, it's what the pros use. We even have an in-store chainsaw sharpening service. It's time to build your property's value with Hardware Hank New Lisbon.
You've got a lot more going for you with Hank, Hardware Hank.
You are watching Lynxx 24, connecting you to your community.
Well, welcome to another edition of Encouraging Thoughts. We have been talking with author Dr. Michelle McGrath about her book, Dropping the F-Bomb, Living a Fearless, Fun, Fulfilled. Did I get that right, Dr. McGrath?
Yeah. Forward.
Fearless, forward, and fulfilled. So with encouraging thoughts, we want to ask you a little bit about what would be some encouraging thoughts that you've written in your book. You know, you have something about a yellow table and people coming to your table. So could you share that with our viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. So the yellow table has a real, tugs at my heartstrings. My grandma gave me this wonderful yellow table from the 1940s, and I had used that yellow table through almost my entire adult life. And when I lived at 410, I talk about that in the book a lot. There were lots of laughs around that table, lots of tears. I'm a mom of 2 children and now 2 wonderful stepchildren as well. And so there's been lots of memories at that table. And one of the things, the strategies I share in my book is about who sits at your table. And it's so important. One of the biggest things I talk about in my book is relationships. And I remember having a conversation with one of my favorite authors, James Owen, and I remember him telling me that if you ride alone, if you're riding a horse, you're out west, you're a cowboy, cowgirl, if you ride alone, you can ride fast, but when you ride with others, you can ride far. And it really has resonated with me. And I think about who sits at your table, who comes to that table, who's making those decisions, and especially in such an interesting time right now, when a lot of us are alone and disconnected, and we would just give anything to have people at our table, right? Because we need that connection, and it's so important. So I think when you have this time, this great pause, as we do, to really dive deep and take some time to think about, who are those people that are moving us forward? Because you can't be fearless and forward and fulfilled if you don't have those positive influences, those great people sitting at your table. And I'm pretty certain that my grandma is somewhere looking down on me, smiling and happy of the people that I have had at my own table, and making the right choices for that. So that's one little tidbit.
So the table analogy, so you can either add chairs or take away chairs as needed. Is that kind of the
And you can Zoom at your table now, right? You can even Zoom now.
You could put a tablet at one of the chairs.
Well, and I talk about the power of 7, who are those 7 people? And it's really hard sometimes to really limit it to 7, or sometimes you are adding some chairs in or you're taking them away, but you really have to have 7 different people at your table that have different loves and interests and things that they bring to your decision making. It's really important. And I mean, that's one of the things, like I said, with us doing these retreats is allowing people, like we do with our young people at the camps we run in the summer, allowing some time, giving people space to really think about those things, because we all think we're too busy and we're not. I mean, that's exactly what we need to be doing, is employing a lot of these strategies in order for us to move forward and have fun. So April, yes, fun should have been in the title, because we want to have fun too.
I just think I subconsciously just feel fun around you. You're just such a fun personality.
It's the overall F.
Yeah, the overall. But Dr. McGrath, before we've got about a minute left, where could our viewers find more about maybe your retreat business, your book, and how to get in touch with you and find out everything that you have to offer?
Absolutely. So first step, you need to go buy the book, Dropping the F-Bomb, and that's at Amazon.com. You can find it there. If you want your young people to be fearless, you need to send them to our camps in the summer, so WASC.org. And if you personally want to move forward on your journey, so pathtozenith.com is where you can find out more about our retreat. So thank you so much for having this opportunity.
Awesome.
It's been great to have you, and we just, I know you personally through working with the WASC, and so you are very fearless, fulfilled, and forward, and you are a lot of fun. So I really encourage our viewers to get out and purchase your book at Amazon. Thank you so much for being with us.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Well, we want to thank you for joining us on your Hometown News, where we're connecting you to the community.